I want you to come with me.
For anyone who is interested, this mug is still available on my website, link in the description. The first step is to throw the mug on the pottery wheel, so that's exactly what I'm doing here. And the first step of throwing on the wheel is centering your clay, so that is what I'm doing here by coning up and down. This process helps get any air bubbles out, as well as makes the clay more homogeneous, essentially meaning that the clay is the same consistency throughout the entire ball of clay. The next step in the process is to open up the ball of clay so that you may actually form a mug, and then make sure the base is completely even so you don't get any cracks. And then it's time to pull walls. Once you've pulled your walls as tall and as thin as they can go, it's time to shape the piece to your desired shape. I typically prefer a potbelly shape with a nice flared rim. I think it's comfortable to hold and comfortable to drink from. Once I have my desired shape, I then clean up the extra clay at the bottom and then begin taking it off of the wheel so that it can dry out. Before I got a bat system, I would put a piece of paper on top of the pot and seal it like so. That way when I slice it and take it off the wheel, it would not warp the rim. Once the piece has dried to the leather hard stage, I begin trimming. I first start with a Mud Tools shredder tool to get the surface completely even, and then I go in with my more defining trimming tools. Once I've trimmed away all the clay that I can possibly trim away, I then begin smoothing out the piece with a sponge and a rubber rib. Before I begin the trimming process, I pull handles, so once I'm done trimming, the handles are dry enough to put on the mug, which is exactly what I'm doing here. First, I mark out where I want the handle to be, and then I begin slipping and scoring. Slipping and scoring helps make sure that the two attachments of clay are secure and there's no cracks and they don't fall off, and that they'll be permanent. Then I put the handle back on the mug exactly where I want it and begin blending the handle into the mug. Once the handle is blended, I then smooth everything out to make sure that it is seamless, and now it's time to decorate the mug. First, I am adding the vines coming off of the handle, and then strawberries, of course, coming off of the vine. Still continuing to slip and score to make sure everything is properly attached and does not crack or fall off. Now my phone did die during recording this part, so I didn't get to record me adding all of the details, but now it's a few days later, the pot is completely dry, and it's time to underglaze it. Painting the vines was very very tedious and a little bit scary. I didn't want to get any underglaze on the mug, but luckily since the mug is not fired, I can easily take a fine point tool and just scratch off any underglaze that gets on the mug. Detail of these leaves, especially on the handle, because they can function as a nice thumb rest that has some texture that you can play with. If you are a fidgeter, this would be a very fun mug for you because you could rub the texture of the leaves while drinking your coffee or tea. Once again, I totally forgot to record me firing and glazing the mug, but here is the finished piece coming out of the kiln. And here is a closer look at this gorgeous mug. If you want it, it's on my website.